Oh, hey guys, Omid with you again on a Monday. Lots of important things going on this week. I'm going to jump right into it, okay? So, tariffs is still very much so on everybody's mind, even though we're on this 90-day hiatus. It's going to control the flow of what happens in the market. And none of these other reports that come out are going to have anything to do with it. So, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here. I would recommend, if you don't, to follow me on Instagram. That way, you get daily updates about what's happening in the market because the news cycle is moving that fast. The address there is just at Omid S. Super simple. This is the biggest news of the week. Trump ramps up attack on Powell, demands the loser federal chair lower rates now. This is not a grand idea. The Federal Reserve has two mandates. One is to stabilize inflation and maximize employment. Okay, and Powell has done a decent job of bringing inflation down. If you remember, it was at 9, it's sitting at 3, right? And unemployment still is okay, even though we have not seen a true picture of the number of folks that have been laid off, especially from a federal level during all this Doge stuff that's happening, because our unemployment numbers still float around 212 to 250,000 from unemployment filings on a weekly basis. And that doesn't pencil out with a number that have been laid off. But we're going to park that for 2 seconds. Upon this news, you got all the stock indices that are down. Why? Because they understand that if and when the Federal Reserve lowers the Fed funds overnight rate prematurely, it will cause inflation. And that's all that there is to it. Okay? Now, let me show you a couple things. This is mortgage-backed securities in the bond market. This is the pond that every mortgage person, including banks and brokers and whatever else, we fish the mortgage money out of this pond, okay? When there's an overabundance of monies in this market, rates are cheap. When there is a shortage of money in this market, rates are expensive. Simple as that, supply and demand. You with me? On September the 18th, the Federal Reserve lowered the Fed funds rate 0.5%, okay? In my humble opinion, that was done immaturely. As that happened, the stock market rallied, the bonds lost a fair amount of money out of it. So what did that do to rates? Well, if we were sitting at 6.25 up here, we're sitting at around maybe 7% down here. And that was the reality. And then the bonds kind of made their way back up again. And on December the 18th, they lowered the Fed funds rate again, this time by 0.25 point, right? And you see the after effects as well. So if and when the Federal Reserve lowers the Fed funds rate prematurely, typically speaking, that signals the stocks to run, that signals the bonds to lose, because bonds hate inflation, and having more money be out there and be ready to be spent is inflationary, okay? Additional support for my thoughts here of where we're at now, which I agree with Powell, I don't think he should be lowering it, is this. Car sales are up 5.3% in March. U.S. retail sales, we're still spending up 1.4% month over month. Okay? Folks are still out there spending money, whether it's on cash or credit or whatever it is. We are still spending too much money. This car sales business at 5.3%, I think this has a lot to do with what happened with the tariffs. People rush the dealerships to go and buy cars before those prices go up. So at the end of the day, I think Powell is making the right move by holding steady and not prematurely lowering the Fed funds overnight rate, which all that does is that improves the rates on your car loans, your credit cards, your HELOCs, your personal loans. All those things are there. If the rates are cheaper, lower, people go out and spend more money and increase inflation. You with me? Cool. All right. Last week's market, we were trying to find our way. We did claw out a little bit, as you can see, over the last few days. This was the 14th. We clawed out. We have lost some of that space and some of that room right now over the last 2 days. What's that done to rates? Well, we got 6.98 as a result of this claw out from Monday. Now we're sitting nationally at 6.94705 on a majority of jumbo transactions. Against these are average rates throughout the country. Definitely get a hold of your loan officer or call me for an exact rate of what you would be qualified for. Okay, as always, subscribe, like, comment, and share this so people that you love and care about can be as smart as you are. And reach out to me if you need to sit down and talk about any of this stuff. If you're a home buyer, you're a home builder, you're a professional real estate agent, we can do a lot of things in the background here to help you strategize and be ready for this market and even thrive in this market. So if that's your case, pick up the phone and give me a call. Otherwise, we'll see you on the Instagram feed. See you, bye.